A brisk February morning on England's east coast called for a sturdy constitution, paper tissues, and well-insulated walking boots. At least that was what Anthony Stanton, or Lord Stanton as he was more formally addressed, thought necessary. He could tell from Lynn Blackthorne's look of pity that she did not share his assessment of winter on the Norfolk Broads. "I wouldn't mind, Ant, but you're an army man. How on earth did you manage on deployment?" Ant inspected the drip of liquid he had just removed from the tip of his nose with a gloved hand before turning his back on the prevailing wind blowing off the North Sea. "I didn't find much need for thermal underwear or earmuffs in the Middle East, Lynn. Anyway, you should talk. That coat and fluffy hat make you look like a Turkish rug gone walkabout." Lynn bridled while smoothing her llama wool ensemble with a hand-encased mitten. "I'll have you know, this is the latest fashion. You are a Philistine sometimes." She gave a twirl to emphasize her point, a corner of the long garment flicking up as a gust of wind caught hold. Ant smiled as he caught a glimpse of her brightly coloured leggings decorated with polar bears wearing sunglasses and holding what looked like pina coladas. "And somewhere on the Yorkshire moors there's a load of beasties shivering just so you can stay nice and toasty." Ant jabbed a finger at Lynn's coat, its wispy down swaying back and forth against each new gust of icy wind. Lynn gave her hat a tug to ensure it completely covered her ears. "I think you will find the collective noun for a gathering of llamas is a cria herd. Also, the wool is sustainably harvested on regulated farms, so there." Anne frowned. "Never heard anything so daft in all my life. I know you head teachers. If you don't know the answer to something, you just make it up." Lynn laughed as she wiped a wind-induced tear from her eye. "That's as maybe, but on this occasion I'm telling you the truth. The term is derived from—" Ant held up his hands in mock surrender. "Enough already. It's too cold for a school lesson. Anyway, don't get me going on all that sustainability stuff. Look at that lot." Turning around to face the full onslaught of the onshore wind bullying its way across the Hemsby coastline, he pointed eastwards to Scrotby Sands wind farm. The Triffid-like structures stood only 2 miles off the coast from Great Yarmouth, though to Ant's eye it looked like they lined the horizon like steel sentinels fending off strangers from afar. Lynn glanced over her friend's shoulder. "And? That lot. Look at them. About as useful as a chocolate fireguard." Ant extended his arm and pointed an accusing finger. Lynn had her arms folded. The look of rapprochement was one Ant knew well as he attempted to defend himself. "What is it they are not doing?" Lynn tutted. "There you go again with your rubbish diction. If you mean that elegant testimony to modernity and sustainability, which are currently stationary, yes, I had noticed." Ant worked hard not to bite. He knew Lynn often got the better of him and tried in vain not to make his irritation too evident. "As you say, I talk rubbish. Anyway, tell me this. It's cold enough to give every heating system in the kingdom a fit of the screaming abdabs, and sufficiently gusty to keep all wearers of toupees indoors with a pot of glue. Yet the very things that are supposed to work quite well in the wind to keep us warm appear to have withdrawn their labour. Go figure." Ant continued to chunter as he waved an arm at the stationary objects that he thought had drawn their design inspiration from the War of the Worlds. "Enough of this. Come on, we've got some granny sitting to do, which is something else you got me roped into without asking beforehand." Ant gave Lynn a fleeting sideways glance as he passed her on his way back to his beloved Morgan sports car. He chose to ignore her look of pity. "Don't you put that one on me, Anthony Stanton. You were the one who said we should take an active interest in the community.